everybody. Today we're going to make a very easy recipe. One of my all-time favorites, smoked meatloaf. You probably already got the ingredients in your cupboard. We need some ground beef, crackers, ketchup, mustard, some barbecue sauce, salt and pepper, an onion, and a couple eggs. And that's it. So we're going to take some saltine crackers and we're going to crumble these down to the consistency of breadcrumbs. I prefer to use a rolling pin and a plastic baggie to help me do this. You can dig in with your hands, crumble them up that way as well, whichever way you prefer. Next thing we'll do is take one small white onion. You can use a sweet onion as well. And we'll peel this, and I like to use my onion chopper, and we'll cut this onion in half and let the chopper do its thing. It does give you a very consistent size dice on the onion, and it's a really handy tool to have around the kitchen. The next thing we're going to do is beat 2 eggs. These eggs, of course, are going to be used as a binder. They help hold everything together. Once the meatloaf is cooked and cooled, it will help set and keep it from crumbling on you. Now the fun part begins. We get to mix all of these ingredients together, and you can use your hands certainly, but I do prefer to use a stand mixer. It does an excellent job of getting all of the individual ingredients combined evenly throughout the entire mixture. Go ahead and add the ingredients in whatever order you like. It makes no difference whatsoever. Just make sure that when you do add salt and pepper, keep in mind that you're adding ketchup, which has salt. Your saltine crackers have salt. And the barbecue sauce also has salt. So you really don't want to add too much salt. Don't use any more than what the recipe calls for, and help avoid getting a meatloaf that's too salty. Now this recipe, as shown, calls for 3 pounds of ground beef, and the recipe as is will create anywhere from 7 to 9 servings depending on how big you cut the slices of meatloaf. We always cook for a crowd, so if you feel that that's too much, go ahead, cut the recipe in half, and you'll easily feed a group of 3 to 4 people. If you don't have that many, then you'll have some leftovers, and this meatloaf recipe, when cold, makes some great sandwiches as leftovers. So now we're going to mix this up. We don't want to overmix and get the meat too condensed, so we'll just let it go until all the ingredients are combined well, and then we will take the meat mixture out of the bowl. And I usually take this 3-pound recipe and split this in half and make 2 separate loaves, so each loaf would be about 1.5 pounds of beef. Now, don't worry about getting it exactly right. This recipe is easy. It's intended to be easy. Don't overcomplicate any part of it. Basically, we're just going to take what we have, form 2 loaves, and try to get them about the same size, shape. Just getting them close is good enough. The main thing is we want them close enough where they're going to cook evenly. We don't want one to cook faster than the other. I do like to use a foil pan when I make meatloaf, even though this is a pretty lean ground beef that we're using here, an 85-15 blend of ground beef. I do like using the foil pan so it catches the drippings and makes cleanup a whole lot easier. And being that it's 85-15, there's not a lot of fat, so I don't have to worry about it sitting in grease while it's cooking. The setup of the grill is very important. As you can see on the bottom rack, I foiled about 60% of that rack to help direct airflow directly under the charcoal. I bank charcoal on one side, giving me a 2-zone fire, and I take maybe 20-25 coals and get them started in a chimney starter and pour them on top of the coals that I've already loaded in. This will give me several hours of cook time, and the expected cook time of this with a target cooking temperature of between 275 and 300 is about 1.5 hours. Now we're going to use 2 small chunks of apple wood here, and I'm just going to drop these in right on top of the coals that I've already loaded into the grill. And in order to make sure that we're cooking at our desired temperature, I've got my ET732 remote thermometer here to help me know what the temperature of the grill is, and we're going to put the lid on so that we can preheat it. We're going to try to cook these meatloaves to an internal temperature of 165 degrees. You always want to make sure with ground beef, other ground meats, that you cook them to a safe temperature. Okay, we're going to place our meatloaves onto the grill opposite of where the charcoal fire is. We want to use indirect heat to cook these meatloaves, and we're going to place the temperature probe in to make sure that we do hit that target temperature of 165 degrees internal. I've got the upper vents at about 25% open. That'll help us keep the temperature in that 275 to 300 range. If it gets a little bit hot, we'll adjust accordingly. After about an hour and a half, we've reached that 165 degree internal temperature, and the meatloaves are done. They look awesome. They've got great color. They've had enough time to get a little bit of that apple smoke flavor, and I'm excited to cut into these and serve them up. And I had mentioned before that this recipe will feed about 8 people. You know, you add a nice side salad, some mashed potatoes, some green vegetables, and you've got a meal that just about everybody would enjoy. We're going to slice into these meatloaves. They've got a lot of nice moisture. They're not dried out at all. And you can serve these with a little barbecue sauce, whip up a quick beef gravy, possibly some au jus. Either way, you're going to have a surefire hit on your hands. Well, we want to thank you for watching this video. Please like our channel, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, check out our website, smokedandgrill.com, and we will see you next time.